breeding Pokemon for the perfect stats is a thing of the past now that we're playing Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. Let's take a look at how you can make your Pokemon the strongest they can be with the use of hyper training. Welcome back, everyone. It's Abdallah here with another awesome Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet tips and tricks tutorial video. Today's video is all about natures and hyper training. These are going to be the last two pieces of the puzzle in order to make your Pokemon the strongest that it can be. I've got a couple easy ways of doing this so you don't have to spend hours and hours of breeding eggs. Man, it's so great. Anyway, thank you so much for enjoying all of these tips and tricks tutorial videos. I would love it if you guys would help me out by hitting that subscribe button if you enjoy the daily content that we put out here for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So before we get started, I want to say thank you for watching our EV training video. Now that's going to be linked right over there in the top corner. So make sure that you guys watch that because that is going to be the very first step in learning everything about making your Pokemon the strongest. So by watching that video, you guys are EV training experts. Now we're going to take it to the next step and teach you guys about natures, and we'll teach you guys how to hyper train your Pokemon. So now that we know everything about EVs in the game, let's actually move on to natures. Now there are so many different natures in the game that boost your stats at a sacrifice of a different stat. So for example, if you take a look at any Pokemon that you have, you'll see right over here on the third page, it'll show their nature. This Dragonite, for example, is a relaxed nature. If you move back to the little graph over here, you'll be able to see that the defense right over there has a little red arrow pointing upwards, and the speed has a little arrow pointing downwards. Now that's exactly what the relaxed nature does. It boosts your defense by 10% while sacrificing your speed by 10%. There's some neutral natures out there, and there's going to be natures that benefit and sacrifice along the way. So it's really up to you guys to know what natures are going to be good for the Pokemon that you're specifically raising. So for this Dragonite over here that I fully EV trained, I'm going to use it in competitive use. It's only going to be a physical attacker, so I don't necessarily need the special attack stat. Therefore, using a Jolly nature or an Adamant nature is going to be ideal, simply because with Jolly, it boosts his speed stat by 10% while sacrificing the special attack stat. Now, the great thing about this is that you don't have to worry about natures in the game. You don't have to breed for them or anything like that, simply because mints exist. Now head on over to Chansey Supply, which we showed a little bit earlier on in the video, and then click on buy. If you scroll all the way over to the bottom over here, you'll be able to see all these different mints. Now the Serious Mint is going to give you a neutral nature, whereas all these other different mints will give you specific ones. And what's great about it is that they explicitly tell you which nature mints boost by 10% and which ones get sacrificed. So Adamant, which is one of the top 10, I would say, is going to be for physical attackers. You're going to get your attack stat boosted by 10% by sacrificing your special attack stat by 10%, which is great. So if you take a look over here at the Modest Mint, that is going to be the exact same opposite over here, where you're going to boost your special attack by 10% by sacrificing your regular attack stat. Anyway, take a look at which one of these mints you want to give your Pokemon and then buy them for 20,000 bucks. Simple, super simple. Okay, so now that you know a lot about effort values, let's talk about individual values in the game. Now, this one's going to be a little different because every single Pokemon is born with their individual values, and they're all varying based off of 1 to 31 in any particular stat. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of combinations out there that's possible, but what you essentially want to do is you want to get 31s in every single one of those stats. So after you've beaten the game, you'll have the judge function unlocked. So all you have to do is go into your boxes and press the plus button in order to see what their individual values are. So press the plus button over here to judge, and you can see exactly where it's at on the spectrum. Sometimes you have good, sometimes you have very good, sometimes you have decent, sometimes you have pretty good. The one that you want is best. That's going to be a 31 individual value. As you can see with this Sprigatito over here, it's got a best in HP. That's really fun. Now, I did the EV Terra raid event not too long ago, and I noticed that as you're going through and getting those Terra Pokemon from the raid dens, they're going to be giving a lot of guaranteed 31 IVs in different stats. Take this one right over here that I got out of, I think, like a 4-star raid. It has best attack, best HP, best defense, best speed, and then it's really only missing special defense and special attack. So not bad. As you can see over here, this was like a 2-star raid for an EV. It really only had 2 of those 31 IVs. And then as you can see, the stronger the Pokemon you get, you're going to be able to get some really, really good individual values over there. So if you have a Pokemon that you're looking at boosting them, and let's say, for example, they don't have good stats, you can actually hyper train them and manually give them the exact 31 IVs that they need in order to be as competitive as another Pokemon that you caught from a Terra Raid Den. And we'll show you that via hyper training right now. So right off the bat, we're over here in Mesa Goza. As we've seen before, this is the Delibird presence, and there's going to be an item over here called the bottle caps. So I'll show you guys exactly where that's at. You click on General Goods, and right on the very top is going to be a bottle cap there. So what you'll essentially want to do is purchase as many of these as you want, but with one specific Pokemon, you're going to need a total of 6 of them. So if you have 120,000 Pokédollars laying around, you can absolutely max out your Pokemon's individual values to 31 in each stat. So I'm going to go ahead and buy 5 of them so they have a total of 6, and we can see over here that we have all of them on hand. So once you have every single one of your 6 bottle caps available, all you have to do is fly on over to the icy peaks of Montanevera right over this way. So fly here, and then we'll be able to manipulate our individual values for any Pokemon and make them anywhere they were at. Like, let's say we had 0s across the board. You can make them as purebred as any other Pokemon as possible. So if you're going to want your Pokemon to be the strongest possible, you're going to have to do some hyper training. So right over this way, as you can see over here, we're in Montanevera. Directly behind the Pokemon Center is going to be this gentleman right over this way. So he's going to ask if any of your Pokemon want to do hyper training. The Pokemon have to be level 50 or over. It's a quality of life stat simply because you can do this a lot earlier now versus in the older games where they had to be level 100. So you can see over here that my Dragonite's level 86, and we hyper trained him all the way. Now, unfortunately, with the Sprigatito over here, he's not going to allow it simply because he's not level 50. So that being said, head on over to any of the Pokemon that you want to hyper train, and then simply put, go ahead and spend some bottle caps over here. So I'm going to take a look at this Dragonite that I caught out of a Terra type. And he has 2 of his stats over here that are not 100% at 31, which is going to be special attack and special defense. So I can select him, and you can see over here we're going to be using regular old bottle caps because we can purchase them, and you'll be able to actually max out those specific ones that he's missing. And you can see over here that since he already has the 31, there's a crown over there, so you don't have to worry about that. Anyway, so then you would click on start the training over this way, it would fade to black, and then out of nowhere, now we have a perfect IV Dragonite within the game. So I'm super excited for that. Right over here, you're going to be able to see, if you go to boxes, those last 2 stats that we got on this Dragonite now say hyper trained on them. So pretty awesome. And now this Pokemon is going to be the absolute strongest that it can be. And there you have it, everything you need to know about hyper training within Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. Which Pokemon are you going to hyper train and completely max out first? Absolutely let me know in the comments right now. I think the priority that I'm going to do right now is getting my Iron Hands completely done for raid battles, and also jumping into Golden Go, because that Pokemon is really, really good in raid battles as well. So those are the 2 Pokemon that I'm going to prioritize EV training and hyper training all the way through. Let me know what you guys are going to do. Anyway, if the video helped you out, be sure to help me out by sharing it. It's super easy. You can just click on the share button. If you have some other people on Twitter or in a social Facebook group, just share it with them. That'd be amazing. Anyway, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you guys are updated on the latest and greatest Pokemon Scarlet and Violet content. We'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.